Hey everyone, James from Merchant Spring here for another episode of Marketplace Masters, where we bring you insights from industry leaders around the world. So, Devin, thank you so much for joining me all the way from Paris. I just wanted to get started straight away and kind of handball it over to you. So, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about who you are, what you do in the e-commerce or more specifically Amazon space.
Yeah, thanks, James. Thanks for the invite. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. I am a senior business manager for anything international with Bison Solutions. We are based in Paris, and we are exclusively Amazon. We only do Amazon, and my main role is to run the international department of 12 people. Today we have two SEO experts, two integrators, and a number of key account managers that run the day-to-day for our accounts.
Interesting. And whilst you're based in Paris, I'm assuming you being the senior in the global team, you actually have a global coverage, right? You work with sellers in any country. Would that be correct in saying that?
100%. Wherever Amazon is present, I normally have my nose in there somewhere. We go as far as we're opening up. We're very excited to see Egypt open up with Amazon as well. So we're everywhere. We are really everywhere. And the advantage we have is we have a flexible system when it comes to consultants that we can hire around the world. I have that facility to go in and find and have consultants, San Francisco, Toronto, New York, New Zealand now. So yeah, we're anywhere where Amazon is.
Yeah, awesome. Truly global agency then. So just getting back to kind of where you're actually based, which is France, right? We're all curious about what's going on there. So how are sellers in France preparing for peak trading?
It is. I mean, I don't think I need to tell you, James. It's all about stock at the moment and getting stuck into FBA warehouses. It's one of the big things that we've been telling sellers for a long time now, for at least a year, is make sure that you're preparing for this problem that we're going to have with logistics. I mean, container prices are going through the roof, and it's a very difficult one for French companies. The one thing that is very difficult as well, especially being in mainland Europe, is providing stock to the UK. And since Brexit has been one of the biggest challenges that any French seller can face, is getting stock into the UK and carry on doing pan-European. The UK is an interesting market because it's the second biggest in Europe, and we don't want to miss that opportunity. So the challenge is how to capitalize on a really bad system. And it's all about splitting your channels of distribution, paying duty only on products that you're going to sell in the UK, paying duty only on products that you're going to sell in the EU, making sure that everything flows quite nicely is a structural issue. It's an internal structural issue. And it's often something that an agency like ours have difficulty explaining to companies because we're asking them to change the way they look at their company and the way they distribute and buy stock and transport stock. It's not an easy thing to say to companies today, hey, listen, if you want to trade in the UK, you'll be doing the same numbers, but you're going to be losing 10 points of margin or 8 points of margin. And that is a difficult pill to swallow for many sellers.
Yeah, I could imagine it's like turning everything on its head, really. So just on that kind of concept or topic of challenges. So in your opinion, other than logistics, I mean, we all know container prices are going crazy. So in your opinion, what's the number one challenge sellers are facing right now?
Number one challenge sellers are facing in Europe today is getting the stock into FBA warehouses, getting the right catalog in, so having the right catalog, choosing the catalog very correctly, and then deciding on what they're going to spend to promote it. Ads on Amazon are not getting any cheaper. The more people we have in there, the more expensive it gets. and that is just something we're part of that. We're probably one of the faults is because we bring in so many sellers onto the platform. So we're creating this ecosystem that is more and more competitive. So if I could resume, it would be the catalog, knowing what I want to sell in what countries, the stock, how much stock will I have in FBA, and then deciding what I want to spend to promote it. That's one of the biggest things at the moment that we hear all the time.
Yeah, interesting. I think that's a shared challenge everywhere in the world. I mean, especially, down here in Australia where I am, it's definitely something we hear a lot as well. So talking again about France in particular. So do the challenges differ across the different channels in France? So those that are listening in France, you actually have fairly significant channels called Cdiscount, Rakuten, and FNAC. They're quite material in your part of the world. So are the challenges different across different marketplaces there, or is it much the same?
Well, no, the different platforms like Cdiscount don't get the traffic that Amazon does, for example. And that is something that a lot of sellers are struggling to comprehend. Cdiscount are a lot cheaper than Amazon. They do have the same services, they're or thereabouts, but logistic routes aren't guaranteed. Actually, something that's quite interesting is Fnac is the second biggest internet site in France. And the reason is they've got a double game. They have a physical retail network of around 150 stores. And they have that e-commerce presence, and they were e-commerce ready long before COVID. And that's what made them such a success. So if I could say that if there was a competitor in France to Amazon, it would be La Fnac. And it is different. It differs because La Fnac often propose to house products in the physical retail after they've seen it explode on e-commerce. And this is something we've seen with other sellers, is that after we had a mobile phone seller, and he was doing very well on Amazon, decided to go to La Fnac. Fnac decided to put him into their physical retails in Paris. And that's great marketing. That's great. And it's actually, I don't see that as competition. I see that as a win-win for everyone, because it's great marketing. We know that visibility creates revenue, and we know that revenue is the name of it's the key to success. So the more visible we are, the better marketing, the more we are a little bit everywhere, the more chance we are to make sales.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Sorry, you wanted to add something, Devin?
No, I was just going to say that the only difference between the other e-commerce platforms in France and maybe Amazon France is really confidence. The French consumers have more confidence when it comes to Amazon. And the reason is that when I get my product in 24 hours or 48 hours, I'm confident that I can send it back. And that's something we hear on the streets. We hear it everywhere, is that a lot of people don't like Amazon, and yet they buy Amazon all the time. And it's 30 million IP addresses connected every year in France, with a population of 68 million. And so it's difficult. The French feel that Amazon is a thing of confidence for them. If they don't like the product, they'll send it back, and they know Amazon will receive it. And that you won't get that service from La Fnac, Cdiscount, Rue du Commerce, or any of those.
Very, very interesting, Devin. Great insight from the ground over there. I guess one final thought just before we wrap up. So for Amazon sellers in France, and I do ask everyone we interview, are these other channels a distraction or a true value add? What's your thinking?
I think that they're a value added. I think before COVID, only 3 companies out of 10 in France had internet sites. After COVID, it's 7 out of 10. So that's 18 months later, getting on 2 years later, at least 7 out of 10 companies in France have internet sites. And that is something that is changed the way we see the ecosystem. I think all of these channels, all these other channels around Amazon are the way forward. And I think, as I was saying earlier, for companies wanting to launch, if I was a responsible CEO and a responsible consultant, I would say, go to all these channels. If you have the budget to do so, then do it. you can, you shouldn't restrict yourself to one platform. And because Amazon's the biggest, I'm confident that I'll get more sales through Amazon than I will through the other platforms, because very, very simply, I'll be better referenced on Google. I'll have a bit higher place. And then it becomes a little bit of a price war, but you'll still get sales. And that's the best thing about it. That's the best thing about it. I would say there's no competition. It's all a healthy ecosystem.
Yeah, fantastic. I love your answer. I think certainly it varies from interviewee to interviewee, but I personally think it's a great steer there. So look, we'll leave it there, Devin. Thank you so much for donating your morning to us, and I'm sure we'll have you back once we've had a chance to kind of do more collaborations. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, James.
Thank you.